Call the roll.
Councilman Deputy Supervisor Withers. Present. Councilman Holman. Councilman Charles.
Here.
Supervisor Sanders.
Here. I'd like to ask Deputy Supervisor Withers to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to take a couple of things out of order. First, we're going to have public participation. Anybody in the public like to speak? Robert, come right up.
Robert Romanowski, 183 Maple Avenue, Muncie. There seems to be a lot of problems in this town these days, and there seems to be two sets of rules, one for the town supervisor and one for everyone else. Recently, the town building inspector was arrested and charged with a number of felonies. He was placed on administrative leave. Previously in April, the town supervisor was arrested and charged with felonies, and he's still at work. Why isn't the town supervisor placed on administrative leave also? The town board put the building inspector on leave. I would think what's good for the town building inspector should also be good for the town supervisor. Also, the building inspector allegedly stole $100,000 in taxpayer money. Where's the oversight of what's going on in the building department? Doesn't anyone know what's going on there? I hold the town board responsible for this, and especially the town supervisor, because that's your main job to be here. I think the problem is that you have too many jobs and you're not spending enough time doing the job you're elected to. Besides being on the supervisor, you're chairman of the RLDC, you're on the sewer and the solid waste authority as the chairman until Ed Day got you to resign. You're on the Lower Hudson Valley Economic Development Council, Tappan Zee Bridge Task Force. I just think that you're overstretched and you're not doing the job that you're elected to do. And I asked the town board to do something about this. You could help in this matter by removing the supervisor as the chairman of the Ramapo Local Development Corporation, because he serves at the pleasure of the town board. The supervisor needs to divest himself of some of these jobs because, in my opinion, he has too many and he's not really doing the job that he was elected to do. And also, at the last meeting, you voted to override the tax cap. Meanwhile, you're voting to override the tax cap as the head building inspector is allegedly stealing $100,000 in taxpayer money. So you maybe should look into other areas of what's going on and pay more attention to your own house before you start raising taxes and everything in the town. And the other thing last comment I want to make, there's a bunch of signs laying over Muncie with Tom Guller's name on it. Apparently he doesn't have a permit. How is this allowed to happen? Every time I run, I get a permit, I pay $100, I don't get it back. There's also a deposit there in case the signs are not picked up. I'd like to know what the town board is doing in this case. You obviously must see them laying over the streets. And why does one person have to buy a sign permit while another person puts up signs without a permit and gets away with everything? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romanowski. Anyone else? Motion to close public participation. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. We're going to take the next item out of order, a personnel item. All right, Chief? We have our Director of Personnel is on vacation, so I'll do the personnel. It's another job. Item 3A, appointment of a police officer. Moved by
Withers.
Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Chief, do you want to say something about it before we call him up to have him sworn in? We'll swear him in right here. We'll stand behind Chief. You can come with. And does he have any family that wants to come up?
Spider got stolen from suffering.
Come right up here, Spider. Chief.
Chief from Boston. Let me get you square away. Christian.
You stand right here. You're going to face this way. Chief, you want to come over? Captain, you want to come over? Anybody else want to stand here? Any lieutenants or any of the other officers? Do you have any family members? Okay. Spider lives right here in Suffern, right? Come on, Pat, Rendell, come on in. We'll stand behind, that's it. Yep.
So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Spider Batstone,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
that I will faithfully enforce the laws
that I will faithfully enforce the laws
of the state of New York,
of the state of New York,
the county of Rockland,
the county of Rockland,
and the laws of the town of Ramapo,
and the laws of the town of Ramapo,
that I will abide by
that I will abide by
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
of the town of Ramapo Police Department
of the town of Ramapo Police Department
and its code of conduct,
and its code of conduct,
and to the best of my ability,
and to the best of my ability,
faithfully discharge the duties
faithfully discharge the duties
of my office and my position
of my office and my position
as a police officer in the town of Ramapo.
as a police officer in the town of Ramapo.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Did you want to say anything?
No, I'm just excited to be here. It's been a long journey, and I'm happy I'm to start.
We're glad to have you on board. Itzy? A new officer. Spider? Stop talking about it. Nice to meet you. Good luck. Welcome, Spider.
Thank you, sir.
Gotta love that name. Spider Batstone.
Okay.
Okay. We had something scheduled right at 10 o'clock, Chief. I'm just going to take care of this, then we'll go into the police budget. We had adjourned our public meeting. We opened it, public hearing. We opened it at the last meeting. This is a continuation of the public hearing on the proposed local law amending the fire prevention chapter of the Ramapo Town Code. And we had put out a red line version of this that people had requested. And so now, if there's anyone here that would like to speak on this, please raise your hand. Motion to close the public hearing by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. A motion on the sequel? A motion on the sequel by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. And then adoption of the local law, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. We have another public hearing that we are adjourning to October 5th, and that is on the zoning portion. We were waiting for the GML review from the county, and we received the GML review.
We're gonna need more time, we have to renotice that.
On October 5th, we'll notice
So,
when it is.
pick another date now where we can do that on the 5th.
So, but do we need to set first October 5th, and then October 5th, renotice it for the,
Whatever
correct?
date the board chooses.
So all right, so,
Red line version done on that as well? Was it-
No, we needed the date when the board was gonna hold the public hearing, because on the website, it's geared to whatever date the action's gonna be taken. So it's ready and it'll be posted, so you'll get a date.
so why don't we make it at 9 a.m., and then that way, if it's past that time, we'll make it 9 a.m. October 5th. Just a quick meeting on this item, and, but the GML review that did come in from the county, the only thing was, I think there was a typo, that was the only change on that.
They had no substantive comments whatsoever.
Okay, very good. Okay, do we need that as a motion on October 5th?
When we do that.
All right,
So-
moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries
And I
unanimously.
spoke with Alan Berman, we'll make sure that the red line version will be up as soon as.
As soon as, now that we set this, the red line version will be up online.
That's adjourned until when?
The 9 o'clock, October 5th, 9 a.m. Okay. The next item on the agenda are police matters. Chief.
Good morning, Mr. Supervisor,
Good morning, Chief.
members of the board.
First item I have on the agenda is a request for authorization for 2 police officers to attend the prevention and response to suicide bombings in Playas, New Mexico, October 14th through 19th. The program is funded through the organization in New Mexico Tech. I'm requesting an approximate expense of $600 be allocated for incidentals for these officers for that travel.
Okay, a motion to have 2 officers attend the prevention and response for suicide bombing incidents in New Mexico. And moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a request of tuition reimbursement for Sergeant Michael Higgins for terrorism and homeland security, and the cost is $1,308.40.
I just have a question on that.
Sure.
As per the contract, doesn't now tuition go to the chief and doesn't have to come to the town board anymore? That was the whole, one of the things, that as long as the chief approves it, it gets paid. We don't have to vote on every tuition contract now.
Okay,
I believe so.
I'm not aware of that.
We were trying to avoid all that. We
No,
didn't want-
I realize that, but I
We
thought
want to
the,
keep a step removed, and the chief authorizes it, and it's done.
okay. So,
But thank you, so it's a discussion item, and you're letting us know. We
Okay.
appreciate that. And we also put a cap on
Yeah.
the amount that could be
so
utilized.
just so I'm clear, in the future, any of these requests, if I approve them, I'm
Up to
authorized.
the amount in the contract.
Yes, of course, I'm authorized to put in for the expense.
Yes.
You can always inform the board if you want to that this is going on, but it's not subject to their approval.
I got you. Thank you.
Okay, Chief.
Next item on the agenda is a request to purchase ballistic steel and Durapanel rubber to protect the target system at the firing range. This is all handled through the budgetary requests with purchasing.
Okay.
And,
Moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. That's an executive session. The next 2 items are executive session, so we'll talk.
One thing I could mention.
Sure.
Is our youth academy, Mr. Supervisor, we are in the process of setting that up. It will start October 13th. The various school resource officers are recruiting children now, not children, but teenagers for that program. And we're working with the Village of Spring Valley Police, Chief Modica, to get students from Spring Valley High School as well. So that'll start on the 13th. And of course, the board is invited to the opening ceremony.
Absolutely, that will be at
7 p.m.
7 p.m. in the courtroom.
That's correct.
Okay. And the great thing about the Youth Academy, they're students from all 3 schools.
That's correct.
And sometimes kids that aren't in those schools
Yep.
as well. Okay. All right, next we'll move to our town attorney, approval of agreements.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The first resolution is one we pass each year. This approves a request by Walmart to provide police officers for crowd control during the shopping days around Thanksgiving. They reimburse the town for all expenses associated with providing the police protection.
Okay. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
We have received a proposal which we solicited from the LaBerge Group regarding building permit fee and procedural review. This resolution will accept that proposal.
And this is for the review, the process, and recommendations.
That's correct.
And this will be capped at $20,000.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to add a
Yes.
comment and a thought, that this is not bypassing any CSEA agreement. We're not outsourcing any jobs there right now, right?
That's correct. This is purely for review of building permit fees and recommendation to the board as to how fees should be calculated in the future.
Right.
Okay. Moved by? Charles. Councilwoman Charles, seconded by? Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
2B2 on the agenda accepts a proposal for temporary workers to help production of documents which are necessary pursuant to a lawful request for copies of documents.
Moved by?
On the question?
Sure.
I'll move it then.
I'll move by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Ullman. On the question, Mr. Withers.
Counsel, this is for the documents that you and I spoke about, and those only, right?
That's correct. That's right. And it's for a very limited period of time. We estimated about 3 weeks.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
We have a number of tax certiorari's that are on the agenda. The first of these is an exemption case. This involves a school on Route 17 in Hillburn. The property owner is Kalel Shas Karen Hatorai.
Moved by?
I'm sorry, what is that again?
This is a school on Route 17 in Hillburn.
And it's an exemption for...
It's their exemption for-
12 through 14.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
The next resolution is for a school in a similar location to the prior resolution. This is owned by American Friends of Kalel Otzer Shas Canada. It's also on Route 17, and again, it's also a school. This is for tax years 2014 through 2016.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
The next resolution involves a property on Francis Place. This is a place of worship, Congregation Sedeh Yosef Inc. And for tax years 2014 through 2016, it's a partial exemption for one of the years and a full exemption for the latter year.
Withers?
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
We have a valuation case, which is the next resolution. This is for Lakeside Retreats LLC. This is a property on 50 Mountain Road, covers tax years 2012 through 2017, and results in a town tax reduction of $51.63.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
The next resolution, Nikon Construction Corp. This involves residential vacant land on 17 Eagle Valley Road in Sloatsburg. This settlement covers 2013 through 2017 and results in a town tax refund of $1,454.70.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Height Realty is the owner of the next property. This is 150 Lafayette Avenue in Suffern. This is restaurants. This covers tax years 2012 through 2017 and results in a tax refund of $215.35.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
The last of these, tax assuring matters, involves a property on 2 Glasgow Lane. Oh, no, I'm sorry, this involves property on Spook Rock Road. This is property used for storage and offices for an educational foundation, the Chofetz Chaim Heritage Foundation. This covers years 2015 and 16.
Moved by Councilman Ullman, second.
On the question.
I'll second it, and then on the question. This is actually, so you know, Councilwoman, this is actually in the Spook Rock Industrial Park. It says Spook Rock Road. It's in the Spook Rock Industrial Park, and I visited it. It's a worldwide foundation, and they utilize it. It's a not-for-profit.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
We have one matter, litigation for settlement. This involves a sewer backup at 2 Glasgow Lane. This occurred on July 3rd, 2015. Attached to the resolution is a detailed memo from Beth Finkelstein in my office. This also requires the installation of a check valve as part of the settlement.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
And that's it for my portion of the agenda.
You had a new business item. Do you want to do that?
Sure. The town recently closed this week on property at 122 on Valley Road. For a number of years, that property was occupied in part by the town and under a license agreement to the purchaser of the property. There was a partial exemption exempting that piece which was used by the town. When we scheduled the closing, we were advised that for some reason the 40% exemption that was applicable to the town's portion was erroneously revoked. That would require the town to pay taxes on property which it had been using and which should be exempt. So this resolution corrects that and directs the assessor and the receiver of taxes to correct the tax bill to reflect that 40% exemption. The exemption will later be adjusted again because title of the property is passed now to a non-tax exempt entity. but we need the exemption corrected so the town doesn't have to pay taxes for something which it should not.
So ultimately, this property will be 100% back on the tax rolls.
That's correct.
And so the portion that wasn't on the tax rolls wasn't reflected. That's our portion, the 40% portion. When, at the closing, did they have to escrow the entire amount for
They
these?
escrowed the entire amount until
Okay.
we were able to adjust this, and the town is going to continue to use that piece of the property through October 31st pursuant to our agreement.
Okay, good. And so it's good to have this back on the tax rolls.
Absolutely.
All right. Did we have a mover? Okay,
No.
moved by
Charles.
Councilwoman Charles, second by Supervisor St. Lawrence. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Okay, we also have another, that was all your new business, correct?
Yes.
We have another personnel item, and that was approval for the authorization for a leave without pay. We had a person in the building and grounds who had an emergency, family emergency, and needed to take some time off, and this allows them to take that leave without pay. Moved by? Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Extension of the agreement for 2017 printing of the summer activities and family brochure for our Parks Department. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. We're doing work over at the Cultural Arts Center in Spring Valley, installing and removing the old air conditioning unit at the Cultural Arts Center. This is the acceptance of that bid, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
Was this a bid or an RFP?
Yes.
Michelle, didn't we do some of the air conditioning 2 years ago?
No, we've been managing it.
Fixing it, but
Yeah, this was an official sealed bid. I think the 5 bids came in and ranged from 45,000 to 225,000.
When we saw that it was gonna go over the bid threshold, we stopped the bid and we went out.
But the previous cost was 30, or that was?
That was an estimate. That was an estimate, so,
Why we did this,
Right, thank you.
okay.
Like it's just that, subject to the customs agreement, and issue today by Child Care Resources, the town, with consent of Michelle, and a recommendation of, hopefully the town board, a company called TLC, which provides after-school services, for the East Rockwell School District students. Their bus to the facility will be at the community center. She's licensed, her name is Erin Higgins, and going to transfer down her licensing, subject to it being approved, we're using 5 days a week for 3 hours, 3.5 hours a day, and the fee will be set with Michelle, or just to ask for your approval, because she'd like to get started as soon as
This will be a license agreement.
She's going to pay us?
Yes, she's gonna pay us.
And subject to all, making sure she has all the proper permits through the, so we'll vote this, subject to the terms that the town attorney office puts on this. Okay. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. We have a discussion item, an intermunicipal agreement with Wesley Hills. Tony?
Recently, the village of Wesley Hills has had new sidewalks installed. One's on 306, and the other one's going to be on Forest Shade from Grandview to the roundabout at Wiltshire Road. The village mayor asked me if we would snowplow them, so I think we had to have an agreement to get the snow. It would be based on time, material, and hourly rate for the machine.
I know that when those sidewalks first went in, we did it for the village, and we were going to then, calculate what it was. So what you'll do is for time, material, you'll just calculate the exact number of hours, and
Yes.
because this property is the village's property, and it's outside of their present agreement.
Yes.
Just to explain
Right,
it to people
and we're
watching
going to
at
have
home.
more walks that's going to be on board next year. There's going to be one put on East Wiltshire, and there's one going to be put on South 45, so we'll probably have to get an agreement with both those villages.
Okay.
So who's going to do it? Highway or Parks? You can decide that's not after the site, someone's gonna-
Time,
Parks,
material,
Parks.
and whatever the hourly rate would be for the machine.
So this will be Parks that's doing this, Michelle?
Yes.
Okay.
We just have to get an accurate accounting of how many hours the guy's out there, if it's on double time, if it's on time and a half, or it's on straight time. So we have to.
Okay.
Michelle,
Did-
you said
did
they're
you-
giving us a machine, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
You said they're giving us a machine?
Well, I'm just saying, now.
No, they're not giving us
more
a machine. They don't have
sidewalks,
one.
we have less machines, deteriorating machines are doing other
basically, all they have to do is just write down when they're on the walk, and Chris can figure out if it's or which rate it's going to be.
But when you're talking about the number of sidewalks, instead of them doing, nonstop, it's not necessarily.
Well, they,
Yes, on the sidewalk machine, that would be helpful.
no, you have to have a radio on them. No, basically, you just have a form, the guy writes down when he's on it, when he's off, and,
It's going constantly, I mean, it's not, I think in theory, but.
it's very easy to keep, it's very easy to keep
Tony,
track.
do you know how many linear feet, or you could find that out for us?
We'll have to measure
Goes
them
from
up.
Fort Shea,
For Shea's going to be from Grandview all the way out to the roundabout, and a little bit on Wilder Road.
okay.
306 is both sides of 306 from Grandview to Lime Kiln.
Okay, so that was a discussion, and we'll continue this in executive session on this contract, yes.
I was going to say, it seems that we need some more details. I think the consensus of the board is to agree to a municipal, intermunicipal agreement, but perhaps we should table it for the next meeting, and we can work out these details.
Yes.
between then.
And we'll get a measurement how long they
How many
are.
linear
This is
feet?
this is for this winter, right?
For this winter season, yes.
Start, let's say November 1st or whatever?
Yeah, right.
Well, is that a prediction, Council, as to when the first snow is going to fly? Not in October? It's gonna
Well,
be-
ever since we had Hurricane Irene, we got a snowstorm 2 weeks after that. Hurricane Sandy, we got 2 weeks after, we got another snowstorm. And Hurricane Matthew's coming at us.
Are you making a prediction on Hurricane Matthews and on snow removal?
Might be.
Snowstorm?
That all it has to equal out.
Do you know when that is supposed to hit, Tony? Or the
It's
potential?
supposed, they'll have more of a track towards the middle of next week. So
Okay.
it looks like it's running more south now, but that could change.
All right, good. Thanks, Tony. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know it was the Pascack Valley line, there was a New Jersey Transit train crashed into the Hoboken station on the platform, and 100 people were injured. I think there are now 5 people that are deceased, and we send our best prayers to those families. It was the Pascack Valley line, I believe, which emanates out of Spring Valley, Nanuet, and Pearl River, so whoever the loss of life, we care about everyone, and particularly people that potentially in our own town. So they have hundreds of people that were injured, and so Council, I think we've done all of the new business. I think we will take a motion now to go into executive session.
Yeah, and this is for a discussion of some personnel items and contracts and potential litigation.
I have one more, I'd like Lieutenant to give me an update on a sensitive case.
Okay,
First item in executive session.
very good. Okay, motion to go into executive session by Councilman Omen, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Thank you all very much. Motion to have a resolution to any vacant or retired positions, the remaining balance of those funds will go into a reserve account. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Omen. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. And a motion to adjourn? Moved by Councilman Charles, second by Councilman Omen. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
The Bronies actually came and they were trying to ask Christian Sampson if they could just, they came for the public participation,
That was at 10 o'clock.
but on the agenda it was late, so they were.
No, it wasn't. It's
On the
it
agenda, it's at the end.
sets no time for it.
But at the agenda, it was at the end of the meeting, so they were just asking if you would open it just so that they.
We're adjourned, but I was glad to talk to them. I'll talk to them right now, all right?